Hello, twisted humans.
Do you find yourself wanting to know more about the latest murder, conspiracy, cult, or haunting?
Then this is the podcast for you. I'm Alecia.
And I'm Sierra, and this is
Twisted and Uncorked. Did you know that beer was legally considered a soft drink in Russia until 2011?
2011?
Yes.
Alcoholic beer?
Yes.
What?
It was a soft drink until 2011, and it made me think of you when I read it because of your funny beer story from when you were a kid.
Yeah, that's crazy. Beer is pop in Russia.
And I'm going to take a grosser turn because that was real short. Ancient Romans used to use urine to whiten their teeth.
Did it work, though?
I can neither confirm nor deny that. I don't know any ancient Romans, but it seemed to
try
have
it?
worked to a degree. No, I am absolutely not going to try it. Thank you for the offer, though.
Yeah.
If anybody decides, I wouldn't recommend it, but let us know if it works.
Yeah, like I have genetically really bad teeth. I don't think I would do it even if it worked, but I'd still like to know.
Okay, so for an actual non-disgusting teeth whitening tip, coconut oil. If you do oil pulling, it's like all natural, but it's kind of icky.
I've done it before.
If you're
It's
a
so
texture
disgusting.
person, yeah, okay.
Mm-hmm.
I
deal.
struggle with it, but it actually works because I drink a lot of red wine and a lot of coffee, and my teeth are normally way worse. So it actually works.
Ugh. Maybe I'll just start trying again. I did it for a while, and it was really like I could do it, but it was really gross. The feeling, the texture.
Especially when you're waiting for it to melt so that you can swish it around in your mouth.
Yeah.
It's a rough time. If anybody is watching on YouTube, Sierra's facial expressions are hilarious right now.
The worst thing about it was not even the oil pulling, but around that same time that I was doing that, I started trying to do a keto diet, and I made bulletproof coffee, which has coconut oil in it. And oh my god, swallowing it is even worse. It ruined coconut oil for me in every single way, and I was like, I'm fucking never putting that near my mouth again. So maybe I can try the pulling again, but don't fucking drink it. It's so gross.
My fun fact was about urine and beer.
Okay. Yeah. Anyway.
And ironically, some beers do taste like urine, so
Cat
not
pee,
that I know,
says 8-year-old me.
There you go, cat pee. Mm-hmm. If you are not a patron and you want to find out that reference, you can head on over to patreon.com/twistedanduncorked, and you can listen to our bitchin' wine from last month, where Sierra talks about how she got to manipulate her mom into letting her try a beer and it tastes like cat pee.
Because I thought it was pop. I thought we were living in Russia.
Sierra didn't get the memo.
Yeah. I do have a fun fact for you. So, this one's kind of, I have to explain it a little bit.
Okay.
So, if you order a package from anywhere and they are supposed to put in like a shipping location for you, right? If they don't put in the shipping location, then it auto-generates to 00. That's the point. Until the person who's shipping it puts in the actual location where it is. Okay. On the map, the point of 00 is the exact spot where the equator meets the prime meridian, which is just off the coast of Nigeria in the sea. So, if you're trying to check a package and you realize it's in the sea next to Nigeria, it's because they didn't update the location. That is not where your package is.
And you should maybe follow up accordingly.
Yeah.
That's hilarious. I didn't know that.
Yeah, somebody posted in one of my Facebook groups, my package seems to be in the sea in Nigeria. Anybody understand what's going on here? And they were like, actually. And I was like, oh, I'm totally stealing that. Thanks.
That is so cool, though. Because that would cause alarm, especially if it was something you were really excited for.
Right,
You're like,
yeah.
why are you in the ocean? Speaking of exciting packages, I got one of my 2 pairs of Beta brand dress pants today, and they are fucking incredible.
Beta brand, sponsor us.
Yes, please. That would be great. I finally bit the bullet and spent the investment to get myself 2 pairs of dress pants.
I do
but
want some
it was
too.
2 months ago, and they finally got my size in stock, and they sent it.
Oh,
and it's like the
good.
perfect length, because Sierra and I are tiny people, so we don't have to have bunchy legs at the bottom. That's nice. So it is the perfect fit. So Beta brand, if you want to sponsor us, please and thank you. That'd be great. I will be more inclined to talk about your pants further and buy more.
Samesies, because I really want to try them, but I'm also really broke. Let's talk about our wine.
Let's do it. So I'm really excited to try this wine. Sierra actually picked this out for us.
It's my favorite wine, period.
Wine in general.
Yes,
Okay.
this is my all-time favorite wine, period, full stop. This is it.
Am I allowed to try sip now?
Yes.
Okay.
I know you don't like sweet, but it's so good.
No, I do. I like it. So I have to make fun of Sierra here a little bit because this wine goes 1% below my favorite rosé that we've had on the show that I called glorified juice. This one is 7% ABV. So it is a lot lighter than most reds that I would have had in the past, but it's actually really refreshing. And considering that it is 94 degrees Fahrenheit and 28 degrees Celsius where I am right now, I can use that refreshing,
Also,
like easy drinking.
We played a drinking game in our last 2 episodes, and I about died. So I needed something a little less ABV this time.
Exactly.
Just a little.
And during that episode, Sierra said, come on, it's fine. You might die, but it's fine. So she knew what was happening. This one is smooth, slightly sweeter, and I'm actually not finding it too sweet. It's really good. It is a red blend from Italy. It is a beautiful violet-hued red with aromatic notes of cherry, blackberry, and red raspberry. Roscato is actually made from 3 native grape varietals grown in the region in Italy: Crotina, Teroldego, and Lagrin. So, yeah, that I'm excited to have this beautiful red wine with my girl because I like trying her favorites too.
This is also the
Wine of Olive
official
Garden?
wine of Olive Garden. Yes. Yes, it is.
I did learn that in my research
Yeah.
too. I knew I wasn't going to be disappointed as soon as I learned that. So,
Yeah.
cheers to episode 19, my friend.
Cheers. Olive Garden is actually where I found this wine the first time.
Is it? This is where you discovered it?
Yeah, they were like, at the time, I was like, I don't like wine. I don't drink wine. But I was like in a mood that day. And they were like, would you like to try our wine? I was like, yes, I would. Like, I wanted to be fancy. I was like, I will try it. And I tried it and I was like, oh my God, what is this? It's so good. Like, I don't even like wine and I love this. And that's what made me start drinking more wines.
And that and the combination of starting a show with me that involves wine. So Sierra's forced to try new wines every week. And you have actually been the best sport because I know you haven't loved all of them. Without further ado, we will dig in here, but just a quick reminder because we've already let our patrons know. Sierra and I are starting off a new round of our categories this week, and we are changing up slightly how we're going to be working it. So rather than us both doing the same category back-to-back weeks, we're just going to rotate through them a little bit quicker. So today I am covering a conspiracy case, for example, and next week Sierra will be covering something else. So it will kind of keep our listeners on our toes, and we're just trying something new. So please let us know if you like this format. Like we said, we do the show for you guys. We love you guys, and also for our own twisted fascination. But you guys are twisted humans, so you get it. So
yeah,
let us know if
we're
this
just
works for
trying to
you.
talk about more things more often.
Yes.
And also for special topic, which will be at the end of this round, right before our serial killers, because that's always our ending with
Our
a
last
bang.
one.
Yeah. We want you guys to choose our special topic.
Yes.
So we'll have a post by the time this comes up, you will have seen a post on Instagram. If you're not on Instagram or didn't see it, go back and look. It's there. And comment what you think we should cover for our special topic. It'll be something that both of us cover. So if you pick crimes involving snakes, sorry, I just saw a picture of a snake. Please don't do that. Then we will both
do that.
then we will both do a crime involving a snake, 2 different stories. So that was just an example. I don't like snakes, and I don't want to.
Yes, we did murderous moms for our first one,
right?
So to be able to cover a listener recommendation, so definitely let us know what you guys want to hear. We're trying to make that last category kind of fun and like a listener's pick, and it'll switch it up for us every couple of months. So, and just a reminder again, if you're loving the show, we know you are because I see the downloads. So just a friendly reminder that if you really want to help us out and show your support, you can leave a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts or wherever you're listening. It is honestly the best way for other people to find us, short of you just yelling at people on the street. If you want to go that route too, you can do that as well. But just a friendly reminder, and if you want to send us a screenshot of that review, Sierra and I will send you a personal handwritten thank you and some stickers to show our love. So
Yes.
we couldn't do it without you. And with that said, we will dig into this conspiracy case.
I'm so excited.
So, today I am covering Caso das Máscaras de Cumbo, or the Lead Masks case. Does this sound familiar at all?
A little bit.
This case is wild, guys. Sierra has made the joke on a few of our Patreon bonus episodes that she sounds like a crazy conspiracist. It's my time.
I'm so excited
to sound like a crazy conspiracist. Our Sierra's favorite.
Are my favorite. Like, I have the openest mind in the world. I am telling you that.
And we
right
know
now.
if you guys are listening, you probably have a pretty open mind too. So keep all of the options in your brain going, because there are a lot of theories here, but we will never know what happened. And I will explain that now. So on August 20th, 1966, Jorge da Costa Alves, he was 18, out flying kites with friends on the hills of Vitem Hill and Niterói, just across the bay from Rio de Janeiro in Brazil. I just want to give my mom a quick shout out here. Thank you so much for letting me pick your brain on some of the Portuguese. A lot of the original documents and notes for this case in particular are not translated and are only available in Portuguese. So Georgie's kite went down in a big gust of wind, and he started climbing down the hills to retrieve it. Vitem Hill is very heavy with forest terrain. Like, it's a little bit of a rougher area of Brazil. Like I said, it's right on the Bay Coast. So perfect place to fly a kite because you're getting that wind off of the ocean, but definitely a little bit rockier and not your average parked plan. So
right.
He went down the hills to retrieve his kite, and during his search, Georgie's fun day quickly turned for the worst when he came across the bodies of 2 men and the unforgettable stench of decay.
Oh no.
The men were roughly in their 30s, laying near the bottom of the hill. They were laying on palm leaves with their hands behind their heads, like they were looking up at the sky, like cloud watching or whatever, or maybe taking a nap. The pair were dressed in business suits and raincoats. There was a notebook, a pack of towels, an empty water bottle, and the strangest thing of all were the solid lead masks covering their eyes. And when I say lead masks, I mean about the same size and shape as sunglasses. They appeared to be handmade and completely solid. When Georgie made it to the top of the hill, he immediately ran to the nearest phone to report the men's location to the police. Initially, investigators didn't really seem to take him seriously, thought that they were likely napping, and didn't seem to think anything of it until he described their condition, the fact that they were obviously there for a few days following their death, and the fact that they were wearing lead masks. This piece of information intrigued the officers. Fun fact, I had like 8 conspiracy cases that I was torn between, and
I chose
Sierra to pick a number, and she chose it by fate. So.
By fate, and I've been wanting to talk to you about this, so I'm excited.
So investigators made the attempt to retrieve the bodies at the bottom of the hill, but like I said, the terrain on Vitem Hill was a little bit rough. So unfortunately, because it was nightfall was beginning to set in and the winds were beginning to pick up, investigators opted to retrieve the bodies the next morning on August 21st when they were able to see a little bit better. Keep in mind, this is 1966 Brazil, so they don't necessarily have all the resources that they do now. Once they were able to get to the bodies, the police found something that was literally straight out of a conspiracy movie. They found a notebook, like I said, but the notes were written in shorthand, but the instructions were the oddest part. And it seemed to lead the pair to Vintem Hill, where they ended up dead. These notes were written in Portuguese, so these ones were luckily translated, but some of the notes in the notebook weren't. So,
okay.
The note says, 4:30 p.m., be at the agreed location. 6:30 p.m., ingest capsules. After effect, protect metals, wait for mask signal. Another page following had a list of numbers and rough sketches on it that made even less sense.
Did you say protect metals?
Yes.
Okay. Sorry, I didn't. Anyway, continue.
Yeah, like, it's weird. And like I said, this was written in shorthand. This was obviously somebody taking notes, maybe instructions that were verbally given, trying to get as much as they could. I don't think it was ever meant for somebody else to understand what was written here. So that is the direct translation. So the police discerned that because they had no physical outside injuries, no appearance of struggle, they literally looked like they had been napping. And because of the notes about, quote, ingest capsules, the police discerned they were likely going to have to do a toxicology investigation because there was no other way that these two 30-year-old seemingly healthy men could have died.
Right.
They thought maybe perhaps they were poisoned, maybe they had taken some drugs and had had an accidental overdose. So there was no way to know until they got to the coroner's office. However, the combination of getting to the bodies to begin with and the extremely booked up coroner in Brazil, they were too late to be able to detect anything in the men's blood, and the toxicology report came back as inconclusive. And this is frustrating on many levels, but we will get there. The two men were later identified as Manuel Pereira de Cruz, 32, and Miguel Jose Viana, 34. The men were electronic technicians from Campos dos Goitacazes, a town several kilometers to the northeast of Rio de Janeiro. This was about approximately a 3-hour bus ride. After learning the men's identities, the Niterói police began to piece together a plausible narrative of the men's last days and how they inevitably ended up on Vintem Hill. There's not a lot known about these men, at least at this point in the investigation, other than they were very good friends, that they worked together. They were both married with young families, and that they had last been seen by their families on August 17th, 1966. So this was a few days when they were discovered on August 20th.
Right.
On August 17th, around 9 a.m., Manuel and Miguel left Campos dos Goitacazes with the stated intent that they needed to purchase some materials for work, and that they were also going to look into buying a used car since they made frequent trips into Niterói, and they thought that this would be a more convenient option for them. They had collectively withdrawn approximately 2 million cruzeiro, which when they were found, they only had about 125,000 cruzeiro on them. So keep this in mind. And just so our listeners know, cruzeiro was the currency of Brazil from 1942 to 1986, and then again between 1990 and 1993. So I did a quick conversion of this in today's US dollars. That is the equivalent to $1,153. But at the time that they were living in 1966, this was actually only about $140. So that just goes to show you how robust the US dollar is in compared to the currency in Brazil at the time.
Yeah.
It is rumored that another coworker, Alecia Gomez, had driven them to the bus stop and had actually offered to go with them. He was a fellow co-worker and needed some supplies himself, but Miguel and Manuel declined and insisted that he stay home. Odd. The two men then boarded a bus to Niterói and arrived around 2:30 p.m. The first stop on their trip was an electronics store called Fluoscope. They had frequented this store given what they did for a living, and the fact that they wanted to get a used car so that they could go more frequently and more conveniently. Investigators learned, however, that in addition to the two men being regulars, they didn't actually buy anything on this day. And it seems strange to take a 3-hour bus ride to do some window shopping.
Maybe they were meeting with someone there.
Yeah, especially when your stated purpose, telling your family that you're going to get supplies.
Yeah.
So odd. The next stop on their list was a general store where the pair purchased the 2 waterproof coats that their bodies were later found in. This also wasn't strange considering it was starting to rain and get a little bit stormy upon their arrival, but the employees noted that the 2 raced from the store in such a hurry that they didn't even bother to put the coats on.
So they were trying to go somewhere, had to stop real quick for a raincoat, but were in such a hurry that they just left without even putting it on yet? Where were they trying to get?
We don't know. Nearing 4:30 p.m., they headed to a local bar called Bar das Realves, where they purchased 1 bottle of mineral water. The police were led there as a receipt for the bottle of water was found on Miguel's person. And just so everybody knows, in Brazil, if you take a receipt to a bottle depot, you'll get a partial refund. So that's just their recycling program, so that's likely why he kept the receipt. And again, if you, he was found dead that same day, so why keep a receipt if you're just going to die? So another odd fact.
Weird.
Yeah, this whole case is weird. Upon being interviewed, the waitress from the bar described Miguel as very nervous or anxious. He was frequently checking his watch and looking around him. He grabbed the bottle of water and left in such a hurry after paying, and this was just after 4:30 p.m. So if you remember from the shorthand notes, 4:30 p.m. stated meet at decided location. So it is possible that the decided location was Bar de Realves, or it's possible that they were late getting to the agreed upon location, which is why they ran out to get to their secret agenda. This is the last time that they were presumed to have been seen alive, with an exception of a few other details that I will get to, but it's believed that they went directly from the bar to the spot which they were discovered on Vintem Hill.
Okay.
Upon further digging and interviews about the men, they learned that in addition to the fact that they were electronic scientists and they frequented Niederoy, they were also very interested in Spiritism. So the basic idea of Spiritism is you're channeling spirits. It's an old religion originating from France. And the belief is that spirits are tethered to your body while you're alive as your soul. And then when you die, it goes to another realm to live on further. So it's possible for humans to make contact with them, and it's a very popular belief in Brazil that you're just trying to find where this other realm is that you're able to get to and speak to them. So it was confirmed when searching Manuel's home to see if they could find any more information about what the men had been up to, that they did actually find a book on scientific spiritism where there were many highlighted passages on intense luminosity and, more importantly, masks.
Scientific spiritism sounds like meditate, communicate, aliens.
Exactly. But a more high-tech version where they're making machines in order to contact spirits. So, when Manuel's wife is interviewed, investigators learned that they were spiritist scientists and that they were a part of some sort of spiritism occult or a secret society. She didn't know too many details about it. She did know that a couple of his other fellow co-workers, in addition to Miguel, were a part of this occult, as well as Alecia. His wife later recalled that she had witnessed Alecia and her husband in some sort of argument about what to do next with a project that they were working on. Also note that this is the same man that had dropped them off at the bus station and offered to go with them, where he was rejected and told to technically stay home. So odd.
But Alecia was also involved with whatever they were doing.
In this occult and whatever project they were working on. Whatever brought Manuel and Miguel to Niederoy might have been a separate thing, but also part of the Spiritism occult. We're not 100% sure. Either way, they didn't want him around. So.
Right, okay.
Odd. And a newspaper article from 1956 states that an orange ship was hovering over Vintem Hill and was shooting blue lights in every direction. This was reported by several witnesses, and the police had no choice but to follow up on the Spiritism lead, even though they didn't really feel like it was viable. Like, as
orange
people know,
ship as in space ship. Okay. Just making sure we're not talking about, like, you know, a boat.
No. So, the idea behind Spiritism is where there is life, there are spirits, or something to connect to. So, the natural assumption is there is life on other planets, and where there is life, there are spirits to connect to. So, like Sierra said, meditate to communicate. Except they were doing it a super intense way.
I love it so much. This is amazing. I'm so glad that this was number 2. Like, I chose a good number. This is amazing.
Right. The men had actually previously attempted to communicate with other spirits or life forms outside of Earth. This resulted in them constructing a machine to be able to do this, or to be able to tether spirits a little more strongly from another realm to their physical plane. So they tested out this machine in Manuel's backyard, but it only resulted after running for a few minutes in a small explosion. However, there was a mysterious black dust left behind a few feet away, nowhere near the machine, and they took this as a sign that a spirit had been there, even if it was for a short time. They had left something behind.
Wait, who took it to mean that?
Manuel.
Okay.
The two guys that were working on the machine.
Right,
So
okay.
it ran for a little bit of time and then exploded. And a few feet away, where they were trying to project whatever communication they were trying to make, there was like this weird black dust.
Okay.
That they even couldn't identify what it was, and they're scientists. So odd. We do learn a few more details throughout the investigation, such as there was actually a discovery of the bodies a day before Georgie discovered the bodies. Another teenage boy named Paulo dos Santos discovered the bodies before Georgie. He reported it to a local state trooper that was patrolling the grounds, but for whatever reason, he didn't do anything with this information. What? Paulo, satisfied that his report would be followed up on, didn't think anything else of it until he learned of the news that Georgie had reported the bodies, and he was like, hey, like, I saw them, and he came forward to the police to let them know what he found. Yeah, really fucked up, hey? So if it had actually been reported on this day, and if the investigators were able to get to Manuel and Miguel's bodies, it is likely that we would have been able to do a successful toxicology report and find out what these ingested capsules are. So this is incredibly frustrating to investigators, obviously. Another odd part about the bodies is that they were laying there for 3 days decomposing. This is in a really rough area, heavy terrain, heavy forest, so naturally that means animals. The bodies were completely untouched. No scavengers, no nothing went anywhere near them. Why?
But they were decaying in a way that means that they were dead for those 3 days.
Yes. But nothing touched them. Animals do what they're going to do when a dead body is around. They were completely untouched.
Yeah, unless there was, like, whatever they took. The animals knew. Like,
or whatever they were there to do, or whatever work they had been engaging in, something was off to the animals. Mm-hmm. And as we know, animals are smarter than people. They sense things that we can't even begin to grasp.
You know,
what were they sensing?
I have to say, every time, and this is not the first time, you've said animals are smarter than people, probably at least, like, listeners go count, probably at least 4 times. Since we started this.
That's lowballing, too, I'm sure.
And every single time you say it, I think of fucking Frozen when Kristoff is singing to Sven. It's like, reindeers are better than people.
Don't you know I'm
every
right.
time that gets stuck in my head. Every time.
I'm so happy about that. I'm so sorry. But it's true, guys. They are better than people. And it clearly can smell whatever is happening to these two bodies, and they don't want anything to do with it. Go sing to your reindeer, everybody, okay?
Yes, please.
So, as the investigation moved forward, other witnesses started to come forward after learning the identities of the two men. It was blasted all over the newspapers all over Brazil. Who are these mystery men? Why were they there? What brought them to Niterói? And how did they end up dead?
And why did they have red superhero masks?
Exactly.
What is that about?
Possibly to block out some sort of crazy light from a UFO?
From an orange ship hovering?
Ooh. Who knows? So a witness named Rolino de Mantos came forward stating that he had seen Manuel and Miguel at the bottom of Vintem Hill getting out of a Jeep driven by a blonde man. There were possibly one or two other men in the Jeep as well, in addition to the blonde man that was driving. They exchanged some words before Manuel and Miguel continued on their trek down the hill. Rolino specifically remembers these two men because it was getting close to sundown, and as we know, the weather wasn't too great that day because they needed those raincoats.
I feel like I need to
bit stormy.
Take notes to be able to piece my theory together at the end.
We'll do a quick recap at the end for you and for our listeners, because when it's a case like this means that Sierra and I are speculating wildly.
I've got my whiteboard out and my Excel marker.
Shit. That is all we know. We don't know what their end goal was on Vintem Hill. We don't know what the capsules that they took were. And we don't know what they spent their money on. Like I mentioned, they purchased the towels, the raincoats, and one bottle of water. They didn't buy any electronics equipment or the used car that they were planning on purchasing while in Niterói. And they only had 125 Cruzeiro left on them of the 2 million that they had withdrawn. So what happened to the rest of the money?
That's a lot. That's a big difference, right?
Big difference. And I guarantee that a water bottle and raincoats don't cost that much. So, what happened to the other little bit of this money? Was there some sort of exchange given to the men that had driven them to Vintem Hill? Was it part of their top secret occult mission? We don't know. So, here's a quick recap. They were found on August 20th, 1966 by George da Costa Alves. But we do know that the day prior, the Paulo de Santos had actually found them. He reported the bodies to a state trooper, in which they did nothing, so that left the bodies there for one full more day. The investigators weren't able to get to the bodies initially, which delayed them again, and because of the delays with the coroner as well, their bodies were too far decayed for them to be able to get anything from their blood, and the toxicology report came back as inconclusive. So, they have an empty water bottle, which makes sense. If they were going to be taking capsules around 4:30 p.m., they would need water to wash it down, right?
Maybe.
Now we also know about their notes from 4:30 p.m. to be at the agreed upon location, and 6:30 p.m. to ingest these mystery capsules, after effect protect metals, and wait for mask signal. What are the metals that they're protecting? And nothing was on their person. Nothing was on their person. This could have meant the metals that were made from the mask. We know that they're solid lead and that is a metal. So it's possible that they were protecting these masks and waiting for their signal to put them on. We know that they were a part of a top secret spiritism occult and that they believed in spiritist science. They had a fellow coworker named Alecia Gomez that was not allowed to come on this mystery trip, but had been seen arguing with Manuel days prior.
What was his name? Alecia?
Alecia. And that they had gone from the electronics store where they purchased nothing to a shop where they purchased raincoats that they didn't seem to bother to put on despite the heavy rain until they were found in them. And that their last stop was Bar Das Rildas, where they purchased one bottle of water before running away to Vintem Hill, where they were dropped off in a mystery Jeep by a mystery blonde man. We have no idea who these people are. They did create a massive like a report about this after Valino came forward as a witness, and nobody came forward as being the men that had driven them to Vintem Hill. So this creates possibly 3 other suspects that we don't even know.
I got it all figured out.
Now we also know that a few years prior, in 1956, there was an orange ship sighting with blue light shooting out of it on Vintem Hill. Now, most people think that this is just a red herring to the investigation, but like I said, where there's life, there are spirits, and there is life on other planets. Mind you, in 1966, while this was wildly speculated by the world, the NASA hid a lot from us, as well as our government agencies. It wasn't until the last few years that the government actually admitted that they were hiding things and that there is other life forms. So in that sense, these guys were way beyond their thinking and trying to communicate with them. There are a few popular internet theories proposed, ranging from foul play to UFOs. So we can rule out foul play right away. Unless whatever these capsules were a hoax and meant to poison the men, we can't discern any other foul play occurred because they were completely calm, still in a nap-like position when they were found, and there was no outward injuries. No birds even wanted to touch them, or any other scavenger animal. One theory revolves around the testimony of a friend of the 2 men, and I believe this is Alecia, but although it's not confirmed on Reddit and everywhere like that, but that they were a group of scientific spiritists, like I said, and that they were attempting to contact extraterrestrials or spirits by using psychedelic drugs in order to get themselves to a place of mind where they would be able to communicate. So kind of like that meditate to communicate 5th kind theory.
Yes.
Believing in such an encounter would be accompanied by a blinding light if they were able to make successful connection, which explains the lead masks to a degree. They cut these metal masks to shield their eyes and may have died due to an overdose accidentally. Like I said, this account is corroborated by the eccentric diary found at the scene by the men, mask-wearing men, and the literature that inevitably led them to Vintem Hill. The instructions led them there, so why? So now I'm going to let Sierra tell me her theories.
I know everything.
Excited. You know everything? Okay, what happened? I think I know everything too, but I think the world was too close-minded at this point to be able to connect these pieces.
My theory goes for open-minded or closed-minded people. So, here it is. The secret society was communicating with aliens, which we know from my Patreon story are also the same thing as spirits, ghosts, or aliens, or something.
Yep. Because they're able to communicate with us without their physical body being there.
Right.
They're able to project their souls or their spirits, which is what they were trying to communicate with.
Right. So they were communicating with aliens slash spirits, or at least they thought they were. So it was some sort of internet, not internet, but like electronic communication. And maybe, if you want to be closed-minded, it was just a hacker pretending to be a spirit slash alien. Okay?
Giving them these instructions?
Yes. So the instructions came from the spirit slash alien slash impersonator. And they told them to go to the metal store, or go to the electronic store to pick up the precious metal that they needed to protect. Pick it up from there, where another one of the secret society members worked. That's how they knew of the store. That's why they didn't buy anything. They were just getting it from their friend. Of course, their friend didn't tell the police. He's part of the secret society.
Yep.
So he picked it up.
We're on the same track so far here.
The 4:30 meeting was meeting at a bar. They stopped in to get a raincoat because it was raining. Like, that's not crazy. They were just racing out of there because they had this meeting to make.
They were in a hurry to get to their next meeting, yeah.
Their meeting place, their predetermined meeting place, was at the bar, but it was outside of the bar. So they went inside the bar because it was raining and they were waiting. And as soon as they saw the Jeep show up, they ran out and hopped in. The Jeep. The Jeep drove them to the place where they would ingest their capsules at 6:30. At 6:30, they ingested cyanide capsules, instant death, and they did that because it would cause them to become spirits to be able to give the alien slash spirit slash imposter the metal. However, they thought that the alien slash spirit slash imposter was going to be able to reanimate them and let them come back to life after giving them the metal. So they were relaxed about it. They didn't care.
Hence
The first trooper was also in this society, knew that those guys were there, knew they were dead, but was waiting for the spirit slash alien slash imposter to reanimate them. He was like,
So
no,
he
I'm
didn't
not going to
want
go
them
get
to be
those
taken
bodies.
away.
I
Okay.
need them to come back to life because that's what's going to happen. And
Yeah.
the reason they told Elcio not to go was just in case anything bad happened, he would be able to take care of their families and continue working
on their work.
with this secret society. Yep. That's my theory.
Mic
That's
drop.
it.
Drop
We
the
solved
pen.
it.
Drop the pen.
We solved it,
We
guys.
are completely on the same wavelength. I thought we were going to go on different realms while we were doing this. So that is exactly what I think too. And the weirder part that I didn't include because I wanted to save a little bit of time for Sierra and I to speculate wildly, that same year that the ship was spotted in 1956, the death of another scientist, electronic scientist, wearing another lead mask was found on Vintem Hill in 1956.
He had already tried it before. Oh my gosh, that's crazy.
So that is why when Georgie called the police to report what he saw, they were so intrigued by the lead mask piece because that wasn't the first time that they had seen that.
Yeah, I still can't explain the lead mask. Maybe because the lights are too bright, I suppose. Maybe that was just their symbol. You know, I mean,
Like the Men in Black, who knows?
well, even the Life and Death Brigade, they have their umbrellas, you know?
Yeah.
From Gilmore Girls. Like, everybody has
Yeah.
their thing. Maybe that was just their thing.
Isn't that fucking spooky,
That
though,
is
that another
the
scientist
greatest.
was found before?
Yeah, I mean, I'm sorry that he died. But also, like, this, to me, just proves that either they were talking with spirits slash aliens, or there is someone out there who is, like, impersonating spirits and aliens and killing them. And maybe that's the person who took their money. I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh, that was
That's my
amazing.
case.
So happy that we talked
Guys,
about this.
if I
Totally
can make
solved
any
it, by the way.
recommendations, maybe go. Yes, we totally solved it just now. Tell us otherwise. If you want to learn more about the fifth kind theory, please go listen to our March bonus episode on Patreon.
It's
Sierra
so
did
great.
an incredible job. And then if I can leave you with a piece of advice, maybe go the meditate realm more than like ingesting psychedelic,
Yeah,
some
please
sort of
don't
capsules.
Die.
Yeah.
Like,
There's no guarantees that anything can bring you
eventually.
Yeah.
But, like, YOLO, right? I mean, I'm sorry for sounding old, but literally, you
It's
only
true.
live on this earth one time. So fucking live. Stop, like,
Playing with
risking
fate.
your life.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't risk it. Just live now happy and
Because obviously whoever they were there to meet or hopefully connect to wasn't actually there or never actually showed up and completed
or
what
wasn't
their
able
wish was.
to give them life back in our theory.
Yeah, that's it. That's all. I'm really glad you enjoyed this, and I
I'm
hope
so
I did
happy.
it justice because
did.
this case has given me nightmares for the last week and a half. So, guys, as usual, if you like the show, please leave us a 5-star rating and review. It is the best way you can help us out. Tell your friends, tell your family. If you want to support the show further, you can head on over to patreon.com/twisted and uncorked, where we've got a shit ton of bonus content for you starting at $1. We have Urban Legends going monthly now. That is new, and that is at the $1 level. We appreciate you no matter what. And we also give away lots of cool swag, so there's that too. And you can also check out all of our episodes wherever you listen. You can check out us wherever you have social media. We've got TikTok, Instagram, a Facebook group, Twitter. Yeah, you can follow us on all of those, preferably. And, yeah, we hope you guys keep listening and loving it, and stay safe. Don't ingest any mysterious pills. And in the meantime,
keep it twisted.
Yay!
Hi, I'm Ashley, and I'm a teacher in Georgia.
And I'm Talia, and I'm studying to be a crime scene tech in Colorado.
Join us every week as we enjoy a cocktail or two
and bring you stories that we find fascinating and scary.
Some make us laugh, and a few make us cry.
But every single one keeps us up at night.
So grab a drink and listen as we spin the wheel of murder to determine our category for the next episode.
A teacher and a crime scene tech walk into a bar, available wherever you get your podcasts. Bye.
Bye.